This is an example of a casement window, sometimes called a crank out. All casement windows open toward the outside. Now they can open in different directions. They can hinge open like a door, or they can hinge up and down open like an awning. In either case, the mechanism and the way that you approach them is essentially the same. Now, one thing to note about casements, the screens are always going to be on the inside. And there are a variety of ways that the screens clip into place. In this case, this screen has these little sliding tabs that hold it into position. Sometimes it might be a little spring-loaded pin on each side and a couple at the top. Sometimes it might be a little clip that hinges open rather than slides open, but they're all pretty straightforward. And the screens just pop off really easily just like that, and now you have access to the inside of the window. Casement screens tend to be cleaner because they spend all their time indoors. Sometimes the outside surface is a little dirty if that window gets open a lot, but in general, casement screens are a little bit cleaner than what you might find on a double hung. Now, a couple of key things to know about a casement once you get the screen off. They generally have a locking mechanism so that the window can't hinge itself open or get pushed open on accident, and that's what we see here. It's usually like a lever like this. So we flip that lever open, and now this window's unlocked. And then they generally have a crank, a handle like this. Now sometimes they have like a shaft that might rotate out and slide in, but in general they crank open. And you can see it's just as simple as turning this crank, and this mechanism, this hinge, retracts inside. There's a little track in there that slides through, and it cranks open, opens up a lot like a door. So now we have access to the inside tracks, the inside of the frame, and all of this can get cleaned out easily. Now, some casements are designed to be able to open extra wide. Like in this case, we have a decent opening here. If this window is small enough, you could feasibly reach through and clean the outside of the glass from inside the building. So sometimes that's a good way to do it, but in general, it's easiest to just clean them in place and then clean the outside from the outside. And when you're done, you want to make sure that all of this gets detailed and cleaned. Crank this shut and lock it back closed. Then replace the screen. Making sure that you get the pins all lined up with their slots and seated properly. And now we've got a freshly cleaned casement window. So that's how casements work. Pretty simple, pretty common. You'll see quite a few of these in the field.